So on a prior project, I got to use Zip R sheathing. That's a 7/16 OSB with a weather-resistant barrier and a 1-inch foam back panel. I want to say it's an R6. This is becoming required for residential construction in Washington to meet our energy codes. So you're going to see a lot more of it. Overall, whether you have the foam backed or just regular zip, I think it's a fantastic system. The tape allows you to get really good seals on the exterior of the building. It's relatively fast. Once you get the hang of it, great product. The stretchy tape is phenomenal for sealing up your windows, your penetrations, and just really getting everything watertight. So for this build, I wanted to do the same thing. And when I called my supplier, gave them the quantity of what I was looking for, and they suggested I consider an alternative product called Novacore from LP and said, it's basically the same thing, just a little cheaper. Okay, so we went with LP Novacore. Now it is similar, but you'll notice that it is a raw OSB. There is no weather resistant barrier. Not a huge deal to have to Tyvek it, but I will tell you, Tyvek or other weather resistant barriers that you staple on, it's not the same thing. It is a different system, and quite frankly, I don't think as good as the zip system. So I kind of regretted that. One of the weird things with this product is when it showed up, all of the boards had a real big cup to them. These were 4x10 panels. We did that so we could do full height and just stack them along the house. It went from our mud sill all the way up to our trusses. We did energy heel trusses, so with 8-foot walls, we had basically a foot at the bottom and a foot at the top, 10-foot work rate. But because of that cupping, when we went to install them, sometimes they would be short of our layout, and so we had to kind of fight them back into position. Now, the nailing pattern on this, if I remember right, was a 6-inch in the field and 3 on the edges. So you're going to use a ton of nails. On the project where I used these panels, I bought a coil framer. Highly recommend it. It saves a ton of time because if you're using a stick nailer, you're probably going to reload 2 or 3 times per panel. Especially around windows and doors, any openings. So the coil framer is worth it. Now, a couple things about LP, and this video is not to bash on LP or to advocate for zip. From what I understand in talking to the manufacturer, they are no longer offering this product, and that kind of freaked me out because it came up when we were having an issue with this product. But it turns out the company was not making money on it. Sounds like the shipping costs were too high. I think they manufacture in Alabama or Arkansas or something, and so trying to ship it to northern climates just was cost prohibitive. So here's what happened. We built this thing in the wintertime. We got started in September, and we weren't really drying in until I think December maybe. And it was getting cold at night. We wanted to insulate right away because we're tying into an existing structure. We want to keep our pipes from freezing, you know, keep the homeowner comfortable, etc. So we started heating this thing before we had it sealed up. We got it insulated, and what ended up happening is we got condensation on the backs of these panels. We didn't know it. On the zip system, on the previous build, I was told not to do a vapor barrier on the interior side of the wall. The reason being moisture would not be able to penetrate the foam and the tape system, so they want it to be able to go back into the house. Now that was a different project and it was different size wall assembly. Here we did 2x6 walls. We did the 7/16 was 1 inch of foam, and we're in a relatively cold climate. So when I spoke with a representative of LP in the fall, he said, I don't think you need the vapor barrier on the inside. I said, okay, talk to the county inspector. He said, nah, you don't need the vapor barrier. So we didn't do one. That was a mistake. So on this project, when we cut the hole for the dryer vent, I reached in and found moisture on the foam panel behind the insulation. I was pretty alarmed by that. So I contacted the same rep from LP as I talked to earlier in the project, and he said, hey, I'm more of a fire science guy. You need to talk to a building science guy. That was not really the answer I was looking for, but I appreciated the honesty. So I spoke with someone who was more of an expert. I want to say he's an architectural engineer and really dialed in on building science. So it was a pleasure to talk to him. He talked to me for quite a while and explained that with the wall system we are using, we need an interior vapor barrier, or we need to go with an 1.5 inch foam panel or another 1.5 inches of insulation on the wall. Obviously, it was too late for that. So I asked him, what do we need to do? And he just said, you're going to have to dry it out, get a dehumidifier going, you know, keep taking readings routinely, and once it's all dried out, go ahead and do a PVA vapor barrier primer. So that's what we did. It took a few weeks to get the moisture levels down. The south-facing walls dried out first, you know, for obvious reasons, because the dew point would not be there as long during the day. But the north side took a long time to come down to where we could cover it up. So I guess the lessons would be, know that this doesn't have a weather-resistant barrier. The tape system is pretty slick. LP is not offering this for sale currently, not because of a warranty issue or because it's a bad product, just for the economic reasons. When you're building in winter, do not heat your space until you get your vapor barrier on. You're going to create problems for yourself. Obviously, if you can build in good weather, do that. But things move slow in the wintertime. So thank you.